we've all heard the saying goalies are weird, but I think it's time that we hear from the goaltenders. So we are starting a new series here at FloHockey called Goalies Are dot dot dot. And I'm joined by Providence Bruins goaltender Michael DiPietro. And Mikey, I've got to ask you, finish this sentence. Goalies are.
We're weird. I think there's no other way to put it. We like to get hit by things. When we screw up, everybody knows. And when we're on the road and we get scored on, the fans love to yell at us and chirp us. So for somebody who signs up for that job, I mean, you got to have a little bit, a couple screws loose upstairs. And, for me, it's just what level of weird are you? Personally, for me, I don't talk about an hour and a half before the game. The boys know, just leave me alone and just let me do my thing. And some people think that's weird. I think I'm pretty normal outside of a game day, but I guess you just have to ask my teammates.
Okay, so on a different line of questioning about that, you say you'd have to ask your teammates. What do you think they would say?
I mean, for people who are watching this series and, a guy's really not talking an hour and a half before a game, I mean, that, to the untrained eye, that's kind of weird. But, with meetings and everything that goes on, I think they just will respect my process, kind of what gets me into my mode, I guess, and how to play. I mean, having Bus as a partner here in Providence is amazing. We truly have a great relationship, working relationship. We push each other. But we also respect each other's kind of routines. So we kind of know what each other likes, whether that be on or off the ice for warm-ups and what makes us kind of get ready for our games. And, if one of the boys shoots a little bit high in warm-up and the other guy will let him know that, cut it out real quick and, reel it back in. And it's always good when you enjoy your goalie partner because, I mean, the American League is always about you obviously want to make the next step and, be at the next level. But, just being where my feet are and, being thankful for where I'm at in my career and us being on the same wavelength, just wanting us both to, do good makes us, kind of accept our routines and, we kind of have each other's backs, which is good.
Do you kind of have a similar routine, or is it just you both have your own thing that you go through on a day?
I think Bus and I are kind of, different routines. But at the same time, it's very much regimented. And actually, funny bringing this up, we had this conversation on our last road trip because we can like pick apart how each other kind of gets dressed at what time they start their routine, and what happens at certain times. And it's actually pretty funny, when you break it down. And I mean, we've in the last 2 seasons we've probably played over 100 games together, so. Just kind of seeing that and having a few laughs along the way is obviously a special relationship. It's rare, and yeah, I'm just really thankful for not just for him being my teammate, but also my friend. So it's awesome.
Well, as you brought up, you've had a couple seasons now playing with Brandon Bussey and being with this Bruins organization. Just how have you been thriving with them? Because everything's been coming up, Mikey DiPietro as the seasons have gone on. How has that been for you, that experience?
It's been great. I think I'm very thankful for the Bruins giving me another shot in their organization. Coming here, I really didn't know what to expect. I just came in with a mindset of just got to put my head down and just work hard and trust in that this will all kind of figure itself out. And for me, I mean, goalies or whatever, you can look and just say, okay, this guy's really found it out here, or not so much there. But in essence, it's a lot of it has to do with the people like coaching and staff, your teammates, like block shots here and there. You got to have teammates who want to play for you, and just the culture here has just been fantastic. And I've really enjoyed my time at the rink again. I think I just struggled after that COVID season. I forgot how to play hockey. I forgot what my routines are. I mean, I didn't play a game for 400 plus days, during that COVID stretch span, whatever you want to call it, and my situation. So my situation was unique. And I think trying to figure out my routine again really struggled, with my mental health. and just kind of how I was playing and not getting the results I wanted. And, coming to Boston's organization, it was a fresh start for me. They're an organization who appreciates hard work, pushing through things, and, just doing the right things. And for me, I try to do the right things. It's just, there's no other way to do it, in my opinion. And, just kind of see where the chips fall. And having a partner like Brandon is amazing. Like I said, we push each other. Our goalie coach here in Dunny, he's very, he gets you. He doesn't overcomplicate things. It's very simple: tracking pucks, putting pucks in good locations, having good feet. All those things combined produce like a result. And it's not just like one specific event or this one goalie is somehow found his game. Like, I don't think that's it. I think it's a culmination of events that just in essence allows the team to have success, and it's always good when the team has success. So I'm just thankful that they were able to give me the opportunity, and I'm very thankful to my teammates and my coaching staff to continue to help me along the way. And just, again, I just want to keep getting better and doing the right things.
We've got a 2-on-0. It's Suzuki and Watson. Watson, Suzuki, Watson, Suzuki, Watson. DiPietro. He's the one who steals the show.
I mean, you talk about, starting to love playing again and just enjoy it. What's been kind of that biggest factor for you as you've gone on through the years playing and getting back into the game?
I think for me, early on in my career, where I was drafted, I think there was some expectation to kind of just, it was pretty much a straight shot. Let's just keep on, ticking along the boxes. And going back to my junior career, I think I didn't really hit a lot of adversity in my junior career. And all of a sudden COVID hits, and, I'm kind of facing that real wall of adversity. And, I just never really have gone through that in my career. And I found maybe I was looking too far ahead at times. Being a young prospect, you're just comparing, contrasting yourself of, so-and-so from my draft class is getting this opportunity, so-and-so is doing this opportunity. And I was never really where my feet were. And after working with, the mental skills coaches that they offer here for us, it really has allowed me to kind of compartmentalize and like break down, okay, why did I feel like this? Why did I put pressure on myself? And I'm my worst critic. It's win or nothing for me. And, there is no, oh, nice try, you'll get it next time. Why wasn't I successful? This is kind of the way my brain works. And a lot of it had to do with, I wasn't where my feet were, if that makes sense. I was always looking ahead. I was always, if I do this, maybe I'll get this opportunity and, sign this contract and all these other things that have absolutely no bearing on what I'm supposed to be doing today. And I think coming out of junior and seeing that, pro hockey is a lot different than junior. You're looking at it organizationally as a whole. And I think as soon as I started focusing on being where my feet were, not getting too far ahead of myself and just being thankful for where I am instead of where I'm not and getting frustrated, then you start enjoying the game again. You start laughing with your teammates. It doesn't matter if you take 5 pucks in the head in practice. You're battling, you're competing. I mean, that's not ideal, but, you have those practices and you start to enjoy the little things more, not just overlook them for the big things.
If you could kind of go back to 2020 and, that post-COVID time and give yourself any words of, hey, you're gonna do this, it's gonna be fine, what would you go and say?
Honestly,
are there any words that you could have said?
I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't warn myself. I wouldn't give myself a heads up, because if I did that, I don't know where I'd be, and this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. And, it may take a long way to get there. And it may take, I might not even reach all the goals that I do have, but I have those goals and I'm determined to hopefully reach them one day. But I truly think I'm a better person for it. And I think I'm a better person off the ice for it. And, I'm a pretty religious guy, and like I have faith in God, and I have faith that things happen for reasons that, maybe make me into a better person, not just a better hockey player. And I think that sometimes gets overlooked because fans or people may view us as, just hockey players. And that's part of the reason I don't have social media, because they always either pump your tires way too big and you start believing it, or they start tearing you down way too much and you start believing that. And neither of it's good. And just trying to stay on that even keel. So I wouldn't tell myself anything. I would say, hold on tight. It's a crazy ride and you never know what tomorrow is going to be. So be where you are. And I mean, I'm just hoping I can continue on this journey that pro hockey here in North America has kind of brought me on so far.
Yeah. I mean, going off of, fans bringing you up too high or, tearing you down too much, for you personally, how do you benchmark that kind of success throughout a year, without getting too high, too low, or just like, how do you see those goals that you're setting for yourself?
I think in a couple ways. I think for me, as far as goals that like you set for, or I set for myself, it's more so in the American League, it's basically a weekend league or a week to week. That's kind of like a Sunday to the following Monday turnover. And, I just try to do short term goals in terms of like that, to kind of, because it is a long season, even though it is only 6 months. When you're in it, it feels like an eternity. And for me, if I set those short term goals, then it starts being, you're managing bite sized pieces. If you look in the season as a whole, and it's good to have long term goals, but I just think there's just so much fluctuation, so many people coming in and out, trades. You don't know what's happening. That if you think too far ahead in the future, then that's where I kind of run into some issues. So, and I don't really measure my success on, other people telling me I did a good job. It's more so, did I do my job? Did I do what I was kind of set out to do today? And did I give myself a chance to perform tomorrow? And that's kind of like where my mindset is on a day-to-day basis now, during the season. Whereas maybe rewind it 6 years ago in my rookie year, and I was like, okay, when am I going to get called up? And that was maybe my mindset, because being a naive kid, you just are drinking the Kool-Aid thinking like, okay, I need to just play this. This is where I need to be. And then I'm going to get a call up and then make the NHL and we're going to win a Stanley Cup 5 years later. Like, it's crazy how a mindset can mature and you can kind of start seeing in a wider scope of things what success is. And that for me, success is as much on the ice as success can be measured the way you carry yourself and conduct yourself off the ice. And that is where I think I made the most strides. And that's probably what I'm most proud of so far up to date.
So if you look back just kind of for yourself, just on this season, how do you see that growth from, measuring success from the start of the year to even now? Because I mean, that mindset's still continuously growing, continuously changing.
Yeah, I think as the season progresses, like I touched on, people move up, people move down. Like there's tons of movement, and try not to distract yourself with all those other things that are happening kind of around you. For me, I think looking back on maybe the beginning of the year, you have expectations, you have things that, where you think or where you want to go, but then, you might just, like I said, hold on and just keep going, just doing the right things. And I guess for me, like, we still have 4 weekends left in the season, and there's a lot of hockey left to be played. This is a time of year where, points matter just a little bit more than they did the beginning of the season. So obviously everybody's stress levels are high. And for me, trying not to bring that stress with me anywhere else I go, that is what I'm trying to focus on for the next, 4 weeks or so. Just trying to, when it's practice days, just enjoy the practice, be with the guys, joke around. And when it's time to, go to work and it's time to get the job done and give your team the best chance. And when I'm not in the net, let's just do what I can for Buster, for my teammates, just put everybody in a good mood and, let's just see where the cards fall, after 60 minutes of each game. And I think that's, that success part is just, it's a habit. It's just a daily what you put in each and every day. And hopefully they just keep accumulating good days, good days, good days. And then they just keep rolling, towards the end of the season. And then obviously into playoffs, wherever where we fall.
How do you kind of work through, you say building good days, but if there is a day that maybe for you feel like isn't such a good day, how do you kind of move past that and get back in that rhythm of, all right, back to good days?
Are you referring to like a practice bad day, or you're talking about a game bad day?
Just any way that you think of like, wow, okay, this took me kind of out of that rhythm of this was going well.
I just think like for me, if we're just talking about practice days, normally a lot of the drills aren't really designed to be goalie friendly for the most part in practices. So I just try to keep that in the back of my mind, to not really get over emotional with certain things. If I don't have it that drill, or guys are just making good shots, if a guy beats me, usually they chirp me and they sally, but I will reverse psychology them and be like, nice shot, Brew, or way to go, Harry. And just like reverse. So it kind of like
into it a little bit.
Their thunder of like them chirping me, and just be like, okay, congrats, you scored one. You want the puck? Like, what do you want me to do? So, and then if it just compounded to be like, okay, I took 5 in the head and I took a stinger in the palm, and it's just like, okay, this is just not a good day, then you flush it. I just say flush it. And going back to talking with my sports psych guy, to, having fun with the equipment guys at the rink, there's other positive ways that you can get better. If you don't feel like you got better that day in practice, you can go do stuff in the gym. You can go decompress in the equipment room, play some darts, play some ping pong, like just stuff to get your mind away from the game a little bit, because the game is literally, for the season's 190 days, but then you have training camp, whatever. You're doing the same thing for basically over 230 days. You're bound to have a couple clunkers. And, as far as games though that go, that's a little bit harder to unpack. I tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'll carry it with me. I won't sleep. There's just unhealthy things that probably, you need to sleep. Oh, well, I can't, because I'm replaying every goal in my brain. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing? So those things are a little bit harder for me to, I guess, unpack. But working with my sports psych guy, he's been fantastic and has been allowing me to kind of like slowly take steps in the right direction to kind of process, those things. But hopefully we don't got to worry about that. We have tons of good days ahead. So fingers crossed.
Always here for it. But you talk about, this is like basically 2/3 of the year, every year, are dedicated to hockey, being on the ice, getting into this. If you had to describe a perfect day away from the rink, just a complete day off, what would that look like for you?
Oh, it's every off day for me. For me, it's during the season. It's sleep in. Usually after the last game of the week, I'll have like a glass of wine, hang out, and then wake up the next day. If my girlfriend's in town visiting, she'll make pancakes. But when she's not in town, I make chocolate chip pancakes with some bacon, some fruit. Just kind of have a slow morning, have a coffee, watch some TV, go to the grocery store, and then just go on a walk. Just kind of like get out, not get hit by things for a day. I mean, that's fantastic. Give your body a break. My hips appreciate it, So yeah, just stuff like that. Honestly, just doing nothing, just kind of playing catch up, calling family during the season. Now in the off season, definitely hitting the golf course, taking my dog on a walk, grab a coffee, all those great things that sometimes during the season you're just a little bit too busy doing, but that's kind of for me.
Okay, I do have to ask, and I don't want you to get in trouble with this one, but I have to ask it. Who makes better pancakes, you or your girlfriend?
Definitely her. She definitely makes better pancakes, although my pancake game has been improving. She even said so. The problem with me, I can't yet master like the flip. it usually turns into like a disfiguration pancake, and then maybe a small other part that broke off and it's on the other side of the pan. But everything else, I mean, the taste is there. She's more the aesthetic pleasing, like don't come in the kitchen when she's cooking it because I'm gonna screw it up. And she's the pancake and the baking person. I am the cooking person.
Okay.
For sure.
Do you have a signature dish you're cooking?
No, not. I like cooking everything. I mean, and when I'm back home, we actually have a barbecue. You can grill. Love steaks. Love doing all that stuff. Grace loves seafood pasta, so whenever she's in town, I'll cook a seafood pasta for her. She's a pasta freak, so that she loves that stuff. So, yeah, just anything and everything. I'm not very picky.
Okay. Now I also have to ask, on a game day, you talked about your routine a lot. What does that routine look like for you? Like from the time you wake up, as much as you can or want to go into detail on it?
Yeah, I mean, I can go in like literally by the minute. Yeah, like wake up, go to the rink. I'll lay my gear out, make a coffee, have some breakfast with the guys. Stretch, morning skate, stretch after, come back here. I'll start prepping my pregame. Night before, I'll cut up all my vegetables or whatever I got to do, so I don't got to cut and do all that stuff on game day. And then yeah, like I'll cook. When I'm playing, I'll cook like a pasta of some sort, whether that be like a mushroom parm pasta or a broccoli garlic pasta with chicken in it. Change it up. But then when I'm not playing, I'll just cook rice, like a stir fry. Yeah, and then I'll go down, like I'll clean up. I always have an apple and a protein bar when I'm done. It's like my dessert, I call it. And then I won't eat anything else till after the game. So I'll go in my room, I'll watch whatever mini series comes on Netflix and watch that. I'll go down for a nap for like 20 minutes and then up, shower, and head to the rink. And then, I mean, my game day routine stuff, we could be here for 4 hours. Like just to the literally, I'm just like so robotic now in what I do. But it just, I mean, my routine allows me to feel like I'm, it's like there's like a spider and it's just like weaving a web in the net and it just makes you feel like secure. It's the weirdest thing to do.
Right, you and I see spiders very differently.
Yeah, I know. So my brother hates spiders. He's definitely afraid. That and flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. Can't stand my brother, but those are the two things.
All right. Well, I think he might have to worry about the flying monkeys slightly less, but
yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong there. I don't
know. Exactly. Unless we go on a safari somewhere, then maybe he'll be a little bit, a little more terrified.
All right. I also have to ask, there's a lot of things about goaltenders. Like people just see, oh, you're in that, you're stopping a puck, but there's a lot of very little underrated things. If you had to say the most underrated thing about goalies, what would it be for you?
That is a good question. Like underrated how? Like by making a save, or are we talking like
well, a lot of times, you hear, or I hear at least, I don't know if everyone does, but goalies are, good skaters most of the time. Like you have to be a good skater to be a goalie. What's something that maybe people don't think about when they're just like, you're in net, you're making a save?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is probably post play, like how a goalie is in their post. If they move really well in within their post, like if they're really organized. Goalie coaches love saying the word organized. It's like their favorite word to use. So if you're in control, then it exudes confidence that to your teammates that okay, he's in control. But I would say for me, honestly, the most underrated quality in a goalie is if you can put pucks in good places or get freezes at good times. Like if you can, have pucks just stick to you or just put pucks in areas where guys can't get to and your D can get to them. Or I think for me, that's got to be the most underrated quality as a goaltender. Like I'm a big believer and I say it because I'm a short goalie. So that's like my trademark, but I'm a big believer in there's a big difference in a goalie making a save and just getting in the way. And I think there's a big, big difference. But I think some organizations obviously love big, tall goalies who just get in the way. Because at the end of the day, you're stopping the puck. But I think if you could do it in an efficient way, obviously it gives your teammates more confidence. So
Listen, you're saying that to the right person because my favorite thing to say on the internet is goalie heights don't matter.
yeah.
Very tired of everyone always being like, he's a 6'5" goalie. He's going to be fantastic. I'm like, it's not part of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have height, I mean, all the power to you. It's just I'm blessed with Italian genes, and Italians don't really aren't really known for our size. I always like to say I'm shaped like a fire hydrant. So my equipment manager and we love to joke around like that. So I think maybe my mask next year will be like, I don't know, maybe I'll put a fire hydrant on it, something like that. Just something fun and lighthearted. So
Okay, last two for you, and one of them is only because you brought it up. What is the difference between control and being organized? Because I don't think I've heard someone mention being organized before.
I think organized is like when you're hitting your post, you're not losing, your inside pad that's on the post. Like you don't miss your post. If you're sliding into a reverse, or if you are now I'm going to say goalie terminology. So this is going to be, we need a goalie dictionary. But if you're in like an overlap and you're standing up, but then you enter in reverse from an overlap, and it just, maybe you catch yourself and you catch your heel, and then you have to like do two more movements just to get on the post. That's not being organized. That's what you would call like a delay. And, delays for the most part can cost you. And 9 times out of 10, if you get beat in and around the net, a lot of it has to do with maybe perhaps you weren't really starting off with being organized. And then in control, I think if they're making like an east-west pass, you're getting over on your feet, you're beating the pass, you're in control, because the puck still has to come to you. So I'm a big believer in, like Dunny always says here, just get on your feet as much as you can. Make sure you're on your feet. You present big, you're more patient. And then it goes hand in hand when the puck's released, putting pucks in good places. Can you freeze it? Can you put it out of harm's way? Or you just, piece of cardboard and it just hits you and falls right in front. Like, it's just like, what are you going to do with that? So I don't know. Those are like two little things I just try to keep in the back of my mind. Obviously, I have tons of work to do in those both departments to get better at. But yeah, I think that's kind of my plan of attack when those things come to mind.
Good enough. See, now I'm learning things that I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, this is new for me.
I think we should write a goalie dictionary with goalie terminology and just seeing.
I think we need it. I think, that's going to help a lot, and it's just going to make everyone be like,
Well, when I first started playing goalie, my dad bought Goalie for Dummies when I was a kid.
Okay.
Because he knew nothing. My dad was a football player, so he didn't really know anything. And it was just like, okay, T-push, shuffle. Like, what are these terms? And I was like, I don't know. I was a big roly-poly, pudgy kid when I was a kid. So I picked goalie because I didn't really have to move much after I, was defenseman. So it was great. But now, obviously, I got to move a little bit more. So got to make sure I'm in decent shape.
Okay. Now, see, I'm trying not to make this too long, but on that,
I got nothing but time. So
how did you end up being like, I want to be a goalie, other than like not having to move? But like, as you mentioned, you're just getting hit with things for hours at a time.
Yeah, a lot of fun. You should try it.
You know what? One day I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come out to you guys and I'll get some tips.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But just how did that come up, as a kid? Because, it's not something that I think most people think of when they're younger, and they're just like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, true. Those are facts. So when I first started actually playing hockey, I was 5 years old. So I started in, I think, beginning of September that year. And my mom actually ended up passing away in November. So she only got to see me play literally for like 2 months. And like, she was very, very sick at the time. So hockey was kind of a way my dad and I just kind of like bonded. Obviously, I played a lot of sports growing up, but that was kind of a way for us to, go into the rink. He had the same black F-150 that when I started at 5 years old, that we actually drove to the draft in Chicago in when I got drafted to the NHL. It was like bookends. It was really special. But besides the fact, fast forward 2 years, I was just playing defenseman, learning how to play the game. And my dad started dating my mom, well, my stepmom, but I call her my mom. And at the time, she had a son, my brother. He's 6 years older than me. So Mark, it was just her and my brother, and then me and my dad. So they started dating, and Mark was a goalie in house league. And so my dad and I would start, going to games. and back in Windsor, 80 Knox Arena, for people from Windsor are watching this. I remember vividly my brother making a save on a breakaway in a house game. It's like a Sunday afternoon. There was like 4 people in the stands, and my dad and I were 2 of them, and 2 other were like grandparents from the other team. And I literally looked at my dad. I remember this, and I go, Dad, like, I want to be a goalie. Like, I just loved how goalies can be an X factor in a game. I love how if you make one more save, last minute, the team's relying on you, everybody's pulling the same way, and that you could be an X factor in a game. I was like, sign me up. This is what I want to do. And then I started to get to know like goalie. I'm like, wow, obviously I was a little pudgy kid. I'm like, I really don't got to move very much. This is like 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm like, this is awesome. But yeah, and the rest is history. I started learning how to play goalie that summer and never really looked back. I just fell in love with it ever since. Now, certain days I'm like, why the heck did I choose this position? I'd love to be a forward, just chip it out on the wall and go score goals. But, that, it has its perks at times too.
Have you gone out as a skater just for fun, just to see how you do now?
So when I was in junior, we had a couple times where, I can't really skate very well in player skates because everything's. So I keep my goalie skates on. But in junior, I went out a couple times as player, and and it's nice because the guys that let me try goalie, they go in there and they're like, well, this isn't very fun. Pucks are whizzing by your head. I'm like, yeah, how the heck do you think I like it at 10 o'clock in the morning when you guys are doing morning skate? Like, I don't really like that either. So can we do a warm-up shot, please? But yeah, so yeah, I like it. I won't play goalie in any other sport for sure. But yeah, I love it. Call me weird, I guess. This goes back full circle. I'm just weird.
I was going to say, I don't know. I feel like maybe playing goalie in hockey is a little more intense than playing goalie in other sports, just for the sake of you have a piece of frozen rubber flying at you. Whereas, like, I don't know, I feel like a ball or something is a little.
I don't know. I think lacrosse goalies and field lacrosse are a little bit, same wavelength as goalie, maybe even a little bit crazier because they have like no padding and the ball is as hard as the puck. Like, that doesn't seem very fun. But yeah, I don't know. We're weird, but they kind of need us. So it's love-hate relationship, I'm sure coaches have with goalies.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe on that point of being weird, it's that pressure that you talk about where it's like you can be an X factor in a game. I feel like a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So that might be a unique thing as well.
Yeah, when you screw up, everybody knows. Like, nobody notices, let's say a forward turns the puck over, or if we over forecheck and 3 guys are behind the goal line, and now it's a line rush 4-on-2 against. Like, nobody sees that. The only time that they really care about is when the puck goes in the net. So we just got to do our very best to, not let it happen as much as the other guy from across from us.
When you're watching a game, are you watching the skaters or are you watching other goaltenders? Like, if you're just watching?
I don't watch hockey.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't really like to. I think part of it has to do with that COVID year. I literally watched pretty much an entire NHL season from the suite. Like, didn't play a game, and I think for me it just ruined my ability to just like watch hockey. And now I'm starting to watch it a little bit more and just kind of like appreciating it. But yeah, maybe when I'm not playing, I definitely will watch like the game. Obviously, I had no other choice. But yeah, I won't watch the other goalie. I'll just cheer on our guys, or I'll see what Bus needs. Make sure everything's all good. Make sure I have the water and the Gatorade ready for when he comes for TV timeouts, and just shoot the shit with the guys on the bench. Just be a positive ball energy.
I like that. That seems like a good way to be, just when you're not the guy having to be stressed and being like, oh, I've got to be in the zone for this. I feel like that's
yeah, it's like, do you think cops, like police officers go home and watch Cops? Like, it's like, or fireman goes home and watch Chicago Fire? Like, I don't think they go home and watch these things. So for me, I know I have teammates who love watching hockey, but it's like, that's what I do for a job right now. I don't really want to go home and watch what I do for a job, especially at guys who are in the NHL and where I want to be. It's almost like a tease. So I'd rather just be where my feet are, be happy, and let's just like see what's new on Netflix or see, Masters is coming up, big golf tournament. So other stuff's on TV.
All right, so what are you watching on Netflix?
I just finished Formula One, the new season.
Okay.
I'm a little bit all over the place. Like you probably name it, I've watched it.
Okay.
I'm a avid binge watcher of shows. Whether it be Prime, I'm watching Reacher on Amazon Prime. There's tons of stuff. White Lotus keeps getting dropped every week. The new season, 1923, the spinoff from Yellowstone. I just love watching shows. So, yeah.
All right. So you're the second person to mention Reacher to me in the last 24 hours, so I feel like I need to watch this now.
You need to watch it.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. I mean, obviously, you'll see it. It's awesome. It's a great show. I mean, the guy's absolutely jacked. It's unbelievable.
I have seen, like, when people have been trying to be like, no, you need to watch this. They're like, this is like, look at this. This is why you need to watch it. A brick of a human.
Like, yeah, he's unbelievable.
Solid.
Like, he literally is like the Hulk in human form. It's unbelievable. What a cinematic masterpiece. It's a great show.
Okay. All right. That'll be on my list. I unfortunately do end up just watching hockey for hours a day. So
I mean, that is, yeah. It's a little bit different for you, though.
Need to break that up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit different, but I mean, we appreciate when people watch us play. I mean, it's good stuff. On the flip side.
All right. So the final thing from me, and this was probably going to end it a while ago, but it's such a good conversation. This is a very non-hockey question it's just my favorite thing to ask. If you were a fruit, what fruit would you be and why?
Well, I can't be a pineapple because my dad is allergic.
It's a good reason.
Yeah, that's all. But I do like pineapples are delicious. I don't know. I think it should be an apple. Like for me, nothing special. I feel like it's very utilitarian fruit. It's just what you're gonna get. My body shape as a kid was basically an apple, so I feel
like you bring this up a lot when we're talking.
It's true. It's unbelievable, the transformation. It's great.
I feel like we need evidence at this point, though. Like I don't know that anyone's gonna believe you.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Hang on. Yeah. I'm gonna post on my phone. It's actually hilarious. It's actually one of my favorite. It's one of my girlfriend's favorite. Like, oh, look how chubby my boyfriend was when he was a kid. And there's a soccer photo of it somewhere on my phone. Let's go. I'll pull it up quick. I know we're recording.
Okay.
Yes.
I also have all the time. I don't.
Yes. So this was me at 5. This is me and my dad. And I was, if you see, shoe to basically my thigh. There is no calf muscle there. And, it looks like my shoes are cutting off the blood flow circulation of the rest of my body. But, that's me, 5 years old.
Well, I genuinely don't think anyone would have pictured that had you not just shown that. Like that.
I know, I look better back then.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna comment. But yeah, okay, apple. I feel like that's usually a good description because I feel like that's a very, as you said, utilitarian. It goes in a lot of things. You can kind of anything you can think of, kind of.
It lasts on the shelf. Won't spoil.
Yeah.
And plus I like apples. I have an apple for every pregame. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. You did say that, so I think that fits. You're just
got to keep it consistent.
Yep, bringing that in. Perfect. Well, I appreciate you joining me today. I know this was a little.
Well, what fruit would you be?
I always say I would be a cherry.
A cherry.
Because they can come by themselves, but oftentimes you'll see them like in a pair together. And I'm a little like codependent, where like I just kind of need someone else to be around. I'm not very good by myself, where I'm like, this is an awkward situation.
Gotcha.
And they can either be like really sweet or they can be like really tart, where it's just like standoffish, don't want to do anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I come prepared. If I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you the question, I'm gonna have an answer myself.
Yeah, you better. That would be kind of, bad luck if I just, flip the question. You just have,
Yeah, and I just sit here and I'm like, no idea.
yeah,
It's okay. Normally, it's a case of you can't think of any other fruit. Like you just kind of sit there and you're like, I've forgotten every fruit that I've ever seen or ever.
Tomato a fruit? Is that
Yes.
true?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody say tomato?
I've had one coach say his player would be a tomato because you just don't expect him to be a fruit. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It was like a okay. That's a little more philosophical than I think I was going for, but
Yeah, I'd just be an apple. Nice and simple.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like apple pie?